What's good with it in the who with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled first and foremost. And I'm very appreciative, man. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. So trip out. Yesterday, I was watching YouTube and I seen a video. I seen a couple videos. One by a guy named Damien Porter, who was a Hoover man, a YA baby, did time in the Youth Authority, YA, all the way to prison. So he knows the ins and outs of the California system. You know, all the way from being a kid and doing his thing. He was there with in the Hoover split, man. So he remembers when Hoover went criminal and stopped being Crips. The guy's very laced up, you know, knows his thing. And then, of course, you have Dubs. You know, Dubs, I respect Dubs. I consider him a friend. I respect his education, his get down, his demeanor, the way he presents his facts and the way he presents his stories, man. They're second to none. You can't deny the respect that man shows to everybody, you know. But when I seen these videos, I know Dubs did a video the other day talking about, you know, New Folsom. An incident that happened at New Folsom back in the days where a water fountain was moved because one Southerner, one Southsider decided, you know, he had a little pull, he had a little status. He decided he wanted to cause guerra. He wanted to agitate the yard. He was trying to put in some work, earn a few stripes, man. And he felt, you know, that if he agitated the blacks, the brothers, man, and it didn't matter. You know, that's one thing about the Southsiders. We're going to break it all down right now. They don't just go at Crips or just Bloods. They don't break them down into factions. When they go at a certain group, they go at all the blacks, period. Plain and simple. That's just how it is. It becomes a Southern and black thing, not a Southern and Crip, or not a Southern and Kumi, or not a Southern and Blood. It becomes Southsiders versus blacks, period. Non-affiliates, Muslims. Doesn't matter. If you're black, you're against the Southsiders. Just how it is. So this guy initiated conflict. Okay, there could have been a better resolution. They could have talked it out. For whatever reason in that story, Dubs said that this guy, you know, questioned or was asked, you know, why he wanted to do this, was told it wasn't the best move. You're supposed to play chess, not checkers, minimize conflict. There's a lot of other things going on in the yard. And he took the initiative and took it upon himself to do it anyways, to get it cleared by his channels and to do it. And so they did. And I know a lot of people were questioning, well, how the fuck do they move a whole water fountain? And so he got it moved from a common area that the blacks and Southsiders could both share to it being placed on the southern side because he knew that that would cause conflict. If the blacks wanted to come over to use that water fountain, you know, it would be an issue. And it's crazy that in prison, it resorts back to the 50s and 60s, you know, the colored signs and the bullshit where people had to sit in back of buses or they couldn't, you know, eat at the same restaurant, sit at the same tables. It's, to me, it's always been, there's not a racial bone in my body. You know, I'm just an unbiased person and I keep it real. I'm a realist. And so I'm going to break this one down in a real way. So when he said that story, it's very believable because I know it ain't nothing but a couple PVC pipes holding that fucking water fountain together. It's easy for them, the yard crew, to dig it up and then place it where they want to place it. And in most cases, the officers are not going to question it. They're not going to say nothing. Okay, that's just the way it is. Especially when it comes to groups like the Southsiders. The cops, the COs on them yards, man, try to have minimal contact with them. Oh, because they don't want that smoke. That's true stories, right? And a lot of those guys respect the Southsiders get down. Let's just be honest and let's be real. That's just the way it is. So anyways, he tells his story and Damien Porter, man, you know, from Hoover, decides that he's going to basically react to the video. And it seemed by his posture, his mannerisms, and what he was saying, he basically was throwing out there that the story was unbelievable because blacks would not go out like that. Because blacks would have got off. Because in the story, Dubs said that the brothers, man, just chalked it up to the game. It was like, fuck it, it's just a water fountain. It ain't that serious. Now, you have to understand, every group politics and every group functions differently. Period. Plain and simple. It's the way it is. Okay? It's not, doesn't mean people are harder than others. It doesn't mean people are more suckers than others. It doesn't mean, all it means is blacks and browns and whites politic differently. The whites more so politics more towards the Mexican side, whereas the brothers do their own thing. The brothers are fragmented into a lot of groups. So there's a lot, if they were to politic like that, there's a lot of different politics. You have the Crips, the NCs, the Northern Crips, the Kumis, the non-affiliates, the Muslims, the Bloods. You have a lot of different politics going on. But like I said, when it comes to the South Side, it becomes a black thing, okay? They don't see color lines and they don't see that. All they see is race wars, ethnicities. So by that guy trying to do that thing with the water fountain and agitate the brothers, man, it backfired. Because what happened in the end was the brothers didn't fall susceptible to that. They were just like, whatever, chalk it up to the game. Now, Damien Porter said that there's no way the brothers would have done this, that there's no way the brothers would have bowed down. And I don't think the brothers bowed down. I think the brothers thought it was not that serious at that point in time. You have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You have to play your cards just right, especially in a prison yard, a 4-yard or a 3-yard. It's a very dangerous situation. And something like a water fountain can get a whole bunch of your manpower and a whole bunch of your soldados removed off the yard or killed. Period. Believe me, people are looking for any reasons for guerra, for war. Any reason. It could be something as simple as stepping on a shoe, as to a homeboy in high desert fucking was talking, bumping baking soda breath on the door. And so now he's landed and now Vatos want to get at him. And that causes a whole big old war. And you have to understand, there's a lot of money being made on them yards. There's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. A lot of packages, a lot of parole dates, a lot of board dates. You got a lot of people waiting on phone calls with family members, visitas, all that. Okay? And if one person comes and fucks off the whole program, man, he's going to have to be talked to. Okay? There's going to be repercussions for that action. So everything has to be done just perfectly. Okay, but one thing I do know about the Southsiders, having done time with them for a very long time, they're a one jump, all jump. We'll question it later, basically, is their motto. If their camarada, their homeboy, is going at it with a brother, a white, a northerner, or whatever, they're just going to get off where they're mad at and talk about it behind, in the shoe or in the oil. They'll get at him later, but they're just going to get off. They don't even question it, man. Right or wrong, they're going to ride with their people. And I think everybody does that. The Norteños do that. One jump, all jump model. Whether he's in the bad or not, you get off and you figure it out later. Now, to me, Damien Porter seemed a little pro-black, okay? One thing I'll say about the prison genre, you'll always be, I think it's human nature and the way we are to put our people first and foremost. Whether it be the raza, the brothers, the whites, we're always going to have pride in our people. It's instilled within us. Especially those of us that have been locked up at a high level, at an elite level, 4 yards, 3 yards, anywhere, man. Prison period. It's indoctrinated into you to love your people, to have your people's back, to rock with yours and yours only. This is a California thing, right? So I could see him still showing ex-convict tendencies and being pro-black. And ain't nothing wrong with loving your race, loving your people, loving your gente. That's you're supposed to. If you don't, you got your fools mixed up like a Brent Wood song. If you try to act like something you're not, man, you're definitely not a man first and foremost. Be yourself. Be proud of where you come from. Be proud of your heritage, your culture. Every culture is beautiful and be proud of it. But don't ever try to make it like your culture is better than someone else's. If you're an ex-convict, if you've done time, state facts. That's one thing about the prison genre here on social media, on YouTube, is people are going to appreciate and respect the facts, whether you take an L, whether you win all the time. Let's be real. Don't sugarcoat or add preservatives. When you add tapatio and too much hot sauce, people start recognizing you as a storyteller and you're on your Sidney Sheldon shit. Okay, be real. The brothers don't win every fight. The Southsiders don't win every fight. They lose battles, but they have enough manpower and soldados to sustain for the war. Same thing with the brothers. If the brothers all came together and were willing to go the distance, they would be a very vicious adversary. Now, another thing Damien Porter said in the video was that I think Dubs did a video and said the biggest threat to Southsiders are other Southsiders. Okay, there is a lot of internal conflict. Unless you're functioning and doing time under them politics, you wouldn't understand. Same thing with the Norteños. It seems like more so than an adversary or having funk with the South or blacks or whites, there's always turmoil within. There's always haterism. There's always something going on. There's always people getting whacked and removed. It's a constant thing. It happens all the time in every yard in the system. So it seems like your biggest adversary, your biggest conflicts do come from within. That's true stories. So when Dub said that, I understood where he was coming from. Now, I've always been of the understanding my biggest adversary is the person in front of me that has conflict. Doesn't matter what race you are. If you're fucking holding a peace and you're going against the grain with me, then that's my biggest adversary at that time. Okay? But he said it according to what he believes. The biggest adversary for the Southerners are other Southerners, Southsiders. And he's telling truth. He's telling his truths. He's telling you from his perspective what he really truly feels. Okay, now there's been a lot of people in the past that say Dubs is biased. He leans more towards the Southsiders like they're superior to other groups. Like the blacks or the whites or the Northerners are come second fiddle when it comes to the Southsiders. That's not true. You know, I've had conversations with this man. He'll give props where props should be given. He'll give respect all the time. And, you know, I know his stories lean a little bit more Southside heavy, you know, but that's what he was. He's telling you from his point of view, from their mannerisms, from what they think. Because having done time and had a lot of conversation with Southside, I can tell you exactly what their mentality is. Their mentality is fuck everybody. Their mentality is they are more superior than everybody. Their mentality is no one else poses a threat to them. That's the way they think. That's the way they're taught. That's why they use pieces all the time. You know, they are told to go out there and always use pieces because it becomes second nature to them. You know, it becomes where guerra always stay, you know, Napoleon Bonaparte said it, man. The best way to prepare for war is always be at war. True stories, right? So they're always at war within themselves, or they're always at wars on the yard. There's always conflict. And they have the most manpower, meaning they have the most soldiers. They have the most people on the yard. It is what it is, man. The Southern car's the biggest. Now, when Damien Porter was saying, you know, the brothers get off on every yard, they set it off. The brothers do hold their own. No doubt about it, man. But I think in my whole time being locked up, I've never seen brothers really use pieces. You know, they have in the past, man. They'll stab the shit out of you. I know, especially like in the East Coast, other states, man, they'll pull something out and give you $1.50. But in the state of California, you're not going to see too many brothers, man, pulling out pieces unless they're on a 4-yard and they're securing themselves. That just ain't their politics. That just ain't their get down. They're not trying to catch more time. They're not trying to make that ultimate sacrifice for people they don't really fuck with on the streets. See, when it comes to the brothers, the blacks, man, no sugarcoating, real talk. They are more street gang members. They have the street gang banger mentality. So when they go into prison, the prison system, they don't have a prison gang mentality. They have a street gang mentality. They're still tripping off fools from the other hoods. They're still tripping off Crips and Bloods, lightweight, right? They're still tripping off of, you know, there was the Crips and the Kumis didn't get along for a long time. They still play them games. Whereas with North or South, they all come together. There is no conflict because you're from 18 or Florencia. There is no conflict because you're from Sam or fucking or Dead End. There is none of that. You're all together because now what you become is you're up under a prison organization and you're told, Holmes, to let them fucking bygones be bygones. Let the old ways of the past. Hey, advancement demands change. Let the old ways of the past stay in the past forever forward. And that's on both sides, North and South. There's a lot of similarities between Norteños and Southsiders, man. People don't key in on, you know, everyone's so busy on the division and the hate and the you're not like us, you're suckers, you're punks, and back and forth. But at the end of the day, they're a lot alike, man. They have the same goals. The goals is social status of equality, to remain on them yards as comfortable as they can and to get all the incentives that are provided, visiting, packages, all that. And I believe the brothers want to do the same thing. For the most part, most brothers that I've been around don't want conflict, man. They'd rather talk it out. They'd rather say, you know what it is? Now, don't sleep on it. The brothers will knock you out your fucking boot heels. Brothers got hands, right? That's a true story, man. When people say, oh man, one brother was dealing with like 4 or 5 Mexicans, probably. They're born genetically, it seems advanced, right? It's just what it is, man. I'm not being racial. I'm just calling it how I see it. I've seen brothers knock motherfuckers' caps off their teeth. True story. And this has been happening since the youth authority. You know, I've seen brothers hit a motherfucker so hard his crime partner in a different fucking, in a different institution felt it. Like, damn, what was that? That's true stories. Another thing is, so I seen Damien Porter do that. Here's my thing. Have pride in your people, but don't act like the brothers never took a L. Don't act like the Southsiders never took a L. Or the Northerners. Everyone takes a L, man. Like I said, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I've been on yards and I've seen it with my own eyes, man. I've seen every different group dudes lay it down, okay? Riots pop off, melees pop off, or whatever. I've seen brothers run or lay it down. I've seen whites run or lay it down, Southsiders, Northern. I've seen it all. And then I've seen motherfuckers rock, hitters from every spot, get off, okay? I know that Dubs told a story, and he was talking about this one, the craziest Crip he knew in the Youth Authority and the craziest blood, that every time these guys seen their opposition, they got off, hands down. He's also told stories about having less numbers and you know, and having conflict with the brothers and having to stand your ground and hold your own. I don't think he's biased. I think he's just telling you from his point of view. And I think Damien Porter was a little biased, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know that man like that. I've heard of him. I heard about him back in the Youth Authority. I respect him. I respect his channel. Make sure you guys tap into Damien Porter. But at the same time, I don't agree with questioning the next man if you were not there on that yard. Questioning, you know, someone who, and here's the cool part about it. I'll be on the phone with Dubs. Like I say, he's a personal friend. We talk about this YouTube shit. You know, we pick each other's brains on certain things, and it is what it is, man. We just get along, okay? And he told me about Damien Porter. Hey, I was in the Youth Authority with him. We had some type of conflict in there. We were young. We let that shit go, man. I consider him a friend. He's cool people. I help him out in this YouTube. I try to give him the game, try to lace him up, make thumbnails for him. He just helps, right? Being of an assistance for someone that's prejudiced or biased or racist or whatever fucking label people put on Dubs, I'm telling you right now, I mean, he helps his brother more than he helps me, right? That's the truth of the matter. So to see Damien Porter go in, basically, and he's entitled to his opinion. You don't have to agree. But I think the righteous thing would have been was to call your homeboy. You know, I know if I don't agree with something that Dubs has to say or he says, I'm going to call him. I'm not going to do it on social media so everyone can pick it apart and the trolls control it. I'm going to call him and I'm going to be like, hey, bro, what's up with it? You know what I mean? Hey, I didn't agree with this, or I didn't like this. And we're going to come to some type of understanding. And I'm still going to do my video and voice my opinion, but he's going to not be ill prepared. I'm not going to catch him, blindside him, and snake on him, basically, right? Now, when it comes to Damien Porter, I think when his posture, the way he was addressing the situation was more like, y'all motherfuckers can't see the brothers. The brothers are this, the brothers are that. Brothers kick it off everywhere. Everybody does, bro. Everybody. You know, people ask me, who's more harder, Gun? Who controls the yards, the Southsiders or the blacks? It depends on who's the deepest there, man. But 9 times out of 10, the Southerners are going to control that yard. It just is what it is. They have the numbers. They're tenacious in what they do. They're willing to go to the end, man. We've all heard that saying, the SA's got a knife. The SA's got a knife, right? True stories. I've heard it with my own ears. You know, the brothers are not trying to get caught up and catch more time. I think Chill from 16 to Life did a video the other day. I was watching, man. He's another great channel. Go trip out on him, right? I support all the brothers, man. I support the channels, Black and Brown Unity, all that. And so Chill does this video, and he's talking about doing his first pegada. And he hits a dude, and he took off. He said, fuck that. I wiggled. I got away with it, right? Allegedly. He did that, right? Whatever. Statute of limitations, whatever it is, it's done. But he told this story on his own channel about him doing a pegada and then getting the fuck away. And he said, most brothers, man, ain't trying to get caught. They're trying to hit you and then get on, right? I understand that. That's the old school ways of fucking do your thing and get on. You ain't trying to do more time. Why? You'd be stupid to want to do more time. Okay, well, in the Mexican culture, when it comes to the prison system in California, whether it be North or South or even Bulldogs, they're not going nowhere. They're not running and trying to get away with nothing. They're blasting. They're going to keep on blasting. They're going to keep hammer fisting that shit through, period. Well, the whites are the exact same way. If a white guy gets off on you, he's going to fucking butcher you. That's it. Plain and simple. It's a different mentality. Whereas a street gang mentality, you do the drive-by, you do the shooting, and then you take off, right? In prison, it's a whole different game when it comes to Mexicans and whites compared to the brothers, right? And not saying that one group is harder than the other or if they're doing it the right way, but Mexicans will get off. You just seen the video in New Folsom, these guys doing the pegada on the dude, hammer fisting knives through his back and his chest, right? They did it right in fucking under the control tower, right in front of everyone. whether it was for clout, notoriety, or whatever. That's the mentality. You seen the Troy Kell video where he's fucking stabbing the shit out of the brother, right? They do it viciously and violently. It's the way that they're indoctrinated. Like they're told, this is how you elevate your status. This is what you do. You know, I know in different states like New York, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, these predominantly black states where there's a lot of brothers, man. I'm sure they're fucking stabbing the shit out of each other, man. I've seen them pull out knives on videos on YouTube and all that, right? But in the California system, it's just a little bit different, man. It's honesty. It's if you're not as organized and you're not under one entity and you're not moving as one, you know, you're never gonna be as prepared as the other group. It is what it is. You know, it's like the whites, man. When I was in the youth authority, there was very few of them. Ask Dubs this question. He'll tell you the same thing. There was very few of them, but those that were rocking, man, they weren't to be played with. They were straight killers, straight hitters, and everyone knew that. They were with the business, and they functioned with the Southerners, and they utilized a lot of the education and the ways of the South Side, and that's what they did, man. Okay? When it comes to the Norteños and the blacks, there has been conflict. I remember in High Desert, I think it was 2002, they were going at it. It could have been maybe a little bit later. No, it was maybe 2006, 2005. They were going at it with the Kumis, the Norteños and the Kumis, quite viciously, man, back and forth, over and over again. It's happened in Susanville, Lassen Yard, man. I seen the Southsiders and blacks get off in the gym, man. And I've told that story. Right after that, not even less than a year later, the Northerners and the blacks were getting off as well. It was all over a radio. Shit happens, okay? Everyone in prison is going to fight. Everyone in prison is down. But for Damien Porter to sit there and say, hey, the blacks wouldn't have went out like that. Hey, bro, you weren't there. You don't know who went out. And it's not going out. It's knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. Kenny Rogers, it's knowing that maybe that water fountain wasn't that serious. You know, I seen another dude, he left a comment. I think it was on Dub's video. And he said, man, real talk on his life that he was on that yard. Or he was on a yard. And where the bathroom areas were all in the southern areas. And that he would see brothers, man, just pissed right there by the building. Because they didn't want to walk through the southern area. That doesn't mean they're punks or they're scared. That means they don't want to deal with the bullshit. They don't want to deal with the shenanigans. So, you know, I respect Damien Porter's opinion. I don't agree with it in this one. And I'm not biased because Dubs is my friend and choosing his side. I just don't know him to fire it up or lie or tell a story that has some truth behind it, man. You know, and I think Damien, being his friend, should understand that. He knows him almost better than I do as far as they have a longer history. So to question another man's integrity, you know, you don't do that to your friends. I'm just saying. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming. Who do you think controls the yards? I'll tell you right now, man. The people that control the prison yards, most of them are not even on them yards. Now they are, but, you know, it just is what it is, man. And, you know, as far as saying the brothers, oh, you know, they ain't no punks. They're going to smash everywhere they go. Not necessarily. And when it comes to the Mexicans, not necessarily. But I'll tell you right now, if you were to tell anyone that's been done time, man, who's the most vicious groups on the yard, they're going to say the Mexicans. And then the whites, and then the brothers, man. You know, the others, hey, shout out to the Asians, others, Usos, you guys get love, man, but you're a peaceful people. You're just trying to kick it, do your time. Soles, I got a lot of love for you, big Usos. That's just what it is. Asians, man, again, they're vicious too. They're just doing their time. Paisas are too busy playing soccer. They will stab you, though. And, of course, the natives, they're smoking fucking out the peace pipe and doing the powwow. With that being said, I hope that you move with a purpose. Like I said, thumbs up, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. A beautiful, beautiful happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful women out there, to all the women out there. Single mothers, even single fathers. This is your day too, Holmes. You're the mother and the father. Thank you to all the mothers that take care of their children and show them the right way. Happy Mother's Day. You guys deserve it. Have a beautiful day. The God.